Hello and welcome back to another edition of Blue Tube. Today we're going to be discussing all things Charlton in our upcoming game against Charlton Athletic, of course. Yeah, how's that? Is that all right?
Yeah, it's just nice to be out in the sun, being able to do something like
Yeah,
this.
sorry if the lighting is a bit harsh. The sun is baking our faces away.
I'm not going to knock having a bit of sunshine, to be honest with you. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So we're going to preview the game against Charlton, which will be at the Valley, Birmingham City v Charlton, on the 5th of October, 24 at 3 o'clock. We're going to go through predictions and what could come up and how things have gone in the past.
Predicted lineup.
Made some notes last time, actually, didn't we? But we didn't really use them, so I was stuttering all over the place. But just as a general rundown, playing at the Valley tomorrow. Charlton are 13th in the league. They've won 4, drawn 1, lost 4. Basically, they've lost their last 3 league games in a row. So
And that was Stevenage, Bristol Rovers and Blackpool.
Excellent memory.
I do try.
And just to sort of get their bit out of the way, if you will, because I want to concentrate more on the Blues, but they've got some returning players. Miles Leeburn, he's coming back in for them.
Who's he?
He's actually an ex-Chelsea academy player. And there's also someone else coming back, Kane Ramsey. And all I could find about him is he was the youngest defender for Southampton in the Premiership.
Right. Okay.
He's coming back in.
So he'll definitely score against us, and that's what that means. If you look at it, the facts.
No, I think what we need to do is look at, say, got a young kid coming up. He's just coming back into the team. There's an opening. I don't really know a huge amount against Charlton.
Yeah.
I'll come to.
Boring Charlton. That's enough of that. Birmingham City now. Who do you think we'll start with?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll go with who we started with against Huddersfield. Just
All
to
stop
keep
and goal?
continuation. But like I said in the last video, I think we could pretty much start with any of our squad
Yeah.
in their positions, and the way Chris Davis has got them as a squad, rotating.
Even keeper.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you. I think the keepers, and not to dwell on it too much, but the keeper's in a position where one mistake, it can mean the game.
Yeah, it comes up big time, doesn't it?
Look how many times in the first 20 minutes of the games that we've been playing this season, I can remember even Willemsen on the side letting the ball go out for a throw-in under his foot twice. I've seen that. If that's the keeper on the line, it's massive, isn't it? That's the difference.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Going through the team, I think it'll be Allsop in goal. He saved a penalty there before.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Cochrane left back. Gardner Hickman on the right.
Definitely, no doubt about the
Yellow
full-back
cards out
positions.
now, isn't it? That's the only reason he came off, I think, the other night.
Yeah.
And then that fantastic duo of Bielik, Clara
Yeah.
Bielik. Midfield-wise, would you start with Anderson again?
Yeah, I've seen that you've put Anderson, Paik, Iwata, Williamson down here. I'm assuming Paik and Iwata will be the two holding midfielders. You'd have Anderson, Williamson and Stansfield in that 3, and then May up front.
Yeah. Well, I still think that May's been given this little bit of, although he was more central attacking, number 9. I seem to think that he and Stanfield have this little thing, this rotation and movement.
Yeah.
And they can
Still
do
find their
that.
feet a little
They're
bit with it, aren't
qualified enough to more than do that. Stansfield, his abilities, working alongside May, I think, like we mentioned before, I think they're just going to form such a partnership going forward. And we just got to hammer that. I think the others are more static in their roles.
The only one I would think about a little bit more, and this is nothing on him, is Anderson. Don't know if I'd go with Hansen instead. I just feel over the past few games, Hansen, I think he's been absolutely electric for us. Not to say that Anderson hasn't, but I remember, maybe I'm just still a little bit bitter about that miss at the end of the game against. It wasn't Peterborough, was it? Who was it against now? Who did he miss against? You guys know what I'm talking about anyway. It was right at the end of the game. Was it Rotherham? I think it was. It flashed across the goal and completely mishit it. It was right there for the taking. But you could also say the same about Hansen against Huddersfield the other day, actually, because he had a chance against Huddersfield, went for it just before Paik had that absolute bullet shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those. I mean, like you've said many a time before, I don't think we've ever been more comfortable with the squad that we've got at our disposal. You can look at anyone, whether it's on the bench, whether it's in the starting lineup, or even beyond that, because you can only have a few players on the bench, and you're not really too worried, are you?
But my absolute starting up front, May and Stansfield. And just to note, Stansfield's been recalled back up to the England under-21s.
Yeah, no surprise.
Read
he's
that this
absolutely
morning.
Fantastic. I love the because I think one thing that people said about us being in League One was the fact that players might be unattracted to it because of the fact that they want their international football, they want to be called up to play for their country, and League One can hinder that a lot of the time. But we've just seen that Paik has been called up again. For South Korea, so massive congratulations to him.
To all of them. Anyone representing the country.
Absolutely, and
fantastic.
Williamson, Sam said.
At our level as well.
Yeah,
let's not knock our level, but
yeah.
recognise that they're not top of the tree. Did I read somewhere that Bielik's been called up to Poland again?
I haven't
or is
heard
that just? Let us know if that's true, because I'm sure I read that somewhere and I haven't found it this morning.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I read it somewhere, unless someone was just wishful thinking on the internet.
Well, he would deserve it, wouldn't he, the way that he's been playing?
And we met him. We did a tour of the stadium. That was fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant.
We've got to do that.
Yeah. So the way that came about, folks, was we had we've joined the OSC for Solihull. That's where we're from. That's where we're living. And we got fortunate enough to have one of these freebies offered to us for a stadium tour. We'll speak about that in another video and give you guys a little bit more in depth into what that was like.
While I'm thinking about it, something online this morning about Alfie May and his time at Charlton, and something about the truth will come out and he will tell the story at some point.
What?
What's that about?
Well, I've seen this in another video, or someone else made the point, and I think I've got a lot of respect for Alfie, mate, and a lot of that comes from the way he handled leaving Charlton. I thought that he showed so much respect in making a video for him, saying his farewells properly. I mean, how often do you see a player do something like that? It's just he's a class act, isn't he? Of course, Charlton means a lot to him. He spent a lot of time there, had a lot of success there. It's going to be an interesting one for him. I wonder, I mean, if he scores, I imagine he would show a lot of respect to the Charlton fans.
But he's going to want to score tomorrow.
Wouldn't it be brilliant if he was just like, "Hey, hey," just went absolutely crazy?
That'd be interesting. And then that, with what's been said this morning on the internet, not really releasing a lot. I mean, by the time this goes out, we might know more. I don't know. Again, if there's anyone out there, write it on the comments. We'll have a little read.
Yeah, this is going to be really tight with the game. We do apologise for that.
Yeah.
Friday.
In fact, the game's finished. We lost 3-0.
No, don't jinx it. Yeah, you've just jinxed it there. If we lose, blame him now.
No, that will be cut. Unless we do lose, then we can put it back in there. No. Do you want some stats?
Go on then.
Let's have some stats. Mm-hmm. Should we have some stats about the games?
Do you mean the stats that are in front of me anyway? But yeah, sure.
Go on then. So,
I'll act surprised.
So let's have a look. There's been 67 games between Blues and Charlton since 1934. Blues have won 22.
Yeah.
We've drawn 21, lost 24.
Right.
There's some balancing up to be done there, isn't there?
Do you know, whenever I see these sorts of things, when there's comparisons between the games, I don't know if it's just me being pessimistic, but it always seems like Blues are on the wrong side of the winning. Like they've always.
It means we've got some
one left.
Yeah. There's balancing up to be done, so we're owed a few results there. That's the way I always
In fact,
do
just before you carry on, you've just reminded me of an interesting chat that I saw online a couple of weeks ago. Someone had put together all the different types of score lines that have ever been across the English football league. Well, just football in England in general. So when you get your freak results like 10-2, 8-3, 12.
9-1 against Liverpool.
That's it. And how many times it's happened, and who's got those results the most amount of times? Some really interesting ones with Birmingham. Did you know that Birmingham, and sorry for this, but it's just...
It's a negative.
We have lost 1-0 the most amount of times. Isn't that great? Isn't that really, really
it's
fun?
Better than 2-0 or 3-0, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the way to look at it. But we're also... I should have had a good one to back it up. I think we've also won... the most for like a 7-1, 8-1 and a 9-1 or something like that. In fact, do you know what? Just to make it easier for you guys, in the description of this video, I'll give a little bit of it. I'll give a link to where I found that. It's a really interesting read. I'll definitely recommend checking it out.
Most recently, Blues Charlton?
Yeah, the EFL
Very
Cup.
recent. Brandon Keeler scored 32 minutes, assisted by Keish Anderson. Passed into him,
Right.
middle of the box, about 25 yards out, and he just absolutely top corner. Beautiful goal.
Yeah.
And also, when we've been talking about who should be in goal, Allsop saved a penalty that day as well.
They keep
Straight at
telling.
him, to be fair, but a
Yeah, it
save's
was
a
a poor
save.
penalty.
And not really going to harp on too much about it, but referee is going to be a guy called Benjamin Speedy. From what I can see, he seems fairly steady. He's not done a huge amount in the league, especially League One. Tends to average 1 to 3 yellows a game. And from what I could see, in the time he's been a referee, which is only over the last few years, 1 red card. I hope that doesn't change. I know I'm tempting fate all the time with what I'm doing here, but
No,
let's
you got to
keep
talk
our
about the
fingers
game,
crossed.
ain't you?
It'll be a nice, flowing game. That's all you can ask. Is a flowing game.
Yeah, I hope that we
Not
don't
too
take
many
our
silly
15,
stops.
20 minutes to start again. You know how we have that trepidatious spell where we don't really get
This
out
is
of first
something
gear.
I've got a feeling that we could be talking about a lot. We need to just start as we mean to go on, get the possession like we normally do, pass the ball about a bit, wear them out a little bit, and then start just edging our way up, finding those little diagonals and forming those nice triangles, moving forward, looking for the man on the wing, getting in behind them.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So that pretty much is the preview for Blues Charlton.
I was going to say, that's it. We've
So,
got one more thing left to do, though.
Go on.
Predictions.
Good lad.
Go on, you go first.
I am going to predict that it's going to be a tight game because they really need to knuckle down and try and get a result at home. They know our setup. We've played them once. It was 1-0 before. I think it's going to be 1-0 again.
Ooh.
Alfie May.
I know that we kept a clean sheet last time against Huddersfield, but I still do have some reservations about not necessarily the goalkeeper, but I'd say the defence as a whole. But with how we're scoring and how we're winning games at the moment, I think I'd be foolish to suggest anything but a win. So I'm going to go for 2-1 Birmingham.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good.
You can sign off. I did it last time.
All right then. Well, if there's anyone out there, thank you for tuning in. If you like what you're hearing, or if you've got any ideas for us, or if you want to take part and just put a comment down, please feel free. And hopefully we'll speak to you on the next time when we'll discuss maybe how things have gone against Charlton. But hopefully you'll join us then, and see you soon. Take care.